Alright, so we are on now lesson 13. We're going to be looking at unit fractions by unit fractions. So our goal is I will be able to multiply unit fractions by unit fractions. So past couple of lessons we've been looking at whole numbers times fractions. Now we're doing unit fractions by unit fractions. So now this is a disclaimer. This is going to be easy. Alright, and I know it's going to be easy, but the thing is, we're not looking at how to do it so much as the why. Okay, so we're going to be looking at some pictures, you need to be drawing, and that will help you to understand the why. Then from there, once you understand the why, we can look at the process, and that'll be simple. Alright, first problem. Andrew has 4 pans of Rice Krispie treats. If anyone wants to bring in Rice Krispie treats, feel free. Because I love those things. Anyway, so he decides he's going to bring half of the pans to school to share with his classmates and his amazing teacher. Yes, that's me. How many pans of Rice Krispie treats does he bring to school? All right, so I'm going to go ahead. You should be able to solve this in your head, but I'm going to show you the process that we're going to use for our drawings. Okay? So there's 1. Here's 2. Make these 2 a little bit skinny. Here's 3. And here's 4. Obviously, in real life, they would all be the same. Whoa, that was big. All right, anyway, so he has 4, and he brings half of the pans to school, right? So I'm going to take these ones because they're half of what he has. Okay, so our multiplication sentence would be 4 times 1/2. Or another way to say this, 4 or 1/2 times 4. You can say 1/2 of 4, right? Our multiplication, we can also say it as of, okay? So from there, our answer is going to be 2. So let's look at this one. He now has only 2 pans of Rice Krispie treats, and he's going to bring in half of the pans to school to share with his classmates and his amazing teacher. How many pans of Rice Krispie treats does he bring to school? Okay, so just do it in your head real quick. Half of 2. You should have gotten 1. All right. So let's look at 1. Okay, this is getting a little bit closer to what we're going to look at today, but not quite, right? So he has 1 pan. All right, let me change colors just for fun. He's going to bring half of that. So we're going to divide it into half, and he's going to bring this side, right? So our multiplication sentence, 2 times 1/2. And from what we know from the past couple of lessons, 1 times 2 is 2 over 2. And we'll get 1. Okay? Now, this should all be pretty much a review. But what we're going to do now is we're going to reduce it. So we've been going from 4 pans to 2 pans to 1 pan. And now we're going to go to a half a pan. Alright, so he has a half a pan and he brings half the pan to school. So I don't have a lot of room here, but I'm going to go ahead and just show this miniature. Alright, so now I'm going to divide it into half, okay, but he only has half the pan. Alright, so I'm going to shade the half that he made. Alright, it's kind of hard to shade. Alright, okay, but we're not done yet because that's what he made. But we're trying to figure out how much he brought. He brought half of that. So I'm going to divide it into half again. And from these 2, I'm going to figure out what half is. It's right here. Right? And now I can see that the one that is double shaded here is what he's bringing. Okay? So we have 1 out of 4. So our answer will probably be 1/4. But let's go ahead and check. Right? So we have 1/2 times 1/2, or you can think of it as 1/2 of 1/2. All right, in our problem, right, we have our of. Okay, so now we did 1/2 of the pan, and he brought half of it, 1 out of 4. So if you're watching carefully, you could probably figure out that, oh, we just multiplied 2 times 2 when we got 4. Yes, and our fractional, our 1 on top stayed the same. Okay? Yes, that's the process, but that is not what we're looking at. We're looking at this picture? Can you be able to draw this picture? Do you understand what's happening? Okay. Now you notice I had 1/2 and I multiplied it by half, right? Usually when we think multiplication, we're going to get bigger, all right? But the amazing thing about fractions is it's totally upside down. We actually get smaller, all right? So our 1/2 has then become 1/4, okay? So there's our equation. Let's go to our next problem. So now we're going to reduce it a little bit more. Andrew only has 1/3 of a pan, and he brings a half to school. All right? So before you even draw anything, before you even think about this, I want you to answer the question. Will he be taking a greater amount or smaller amount than our last problem? Remember, our last problem was 1/2 of 1/2. Our problem now is 1/3 of 1/2. I'm going to pause here, think about it. All right, so you should have thought last time we started with 1/2, but now we're starting with 1/3, which is smaller, right? So he will not have as much to bring. So here we go. I'm going to have to draw them small again, sorry. Oh, wait. That's good enough. All right, so I'm going to go across just for fun because it doesn't matter which way you go. All right, and I'm going to show 1/3 of this. So I'm going to shade, I'm going to make them a little bigger. This will help. Okay, not that much. All right, here we go. So I'm showing 1/3. This is how much he made of the pan, okay? But he only brings half of it to school. So once again, I'm going to divide it into half there, okay? And I'm going to shade in half of what I partitioned. All right, so I'm going to look at, I'm focusing on the one that is double shaded. All right, and I put them into 2 different colors just for you guys so it's easy to see, right? Our blue and our red is right here. Okay, we have 1 out of, and if you want to, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and our answer should give us 1/6. Let's go ahead, write this as an equation. All right, so we started with 1/3. We're talking about 1/3 of, okay, and we have a half. So if we followed kind of the same process as we did last time, we just multiply 3 times 2, 1 times 1, and we get 1/6, which is exactly the same thing that we got with our picture. All right, so this is our y, and this is our quick how. All right. I care more about this one right now. Okay, so now Andrew has 1/3 of a pan of Rice Krispie treats and he brings 1/4. All right, once again, we're still getting smaller. Okay, so what I want to do is we're going to compare 2 different ways to do it. First, we're going to look at 1/4 of 1/3, and then we're going to switch it and go 1/3 of 1/4. Okay, so as I'm drawing this, I want you to think, is the answer going to stay the same? Is it going to be different? The order is different, but the numbers are the same, and it's multiplication. All right, so think about what you know about multiplication. Do you think it will stay the same or different? But instead of just thinking about it, we're actually going to prove it. So there's 1/4, and I'm going to show thirds, right? And I'm going to shade here. You can shade all the way across. That it doesn't really matter. Oh, those look like mountains. Anyway, what we're really focusing on is this double shaded one. All right. So 1/4 of 1/3 is equal to 1/12. All right. You can count the boxes. If I'm wrong, you let me know. But I'm not. All right. So we'll get 1/12 there. So now I'm going to draw the other way. First, I'm going to start with thirds. All right. I'm going to shade in 1 because that's what we're talking about. There we go. Change to blue, and now I'm going to show fourths. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, I'm going to shade, that's the word. I'm going to shade this, and then I'm looking at my double shaded part. There's 1 out of, count those boxes, 12. Same answer. All right, so if anyone asks me, does it matter the order? The answer is no, not at all. Okay, multiplication, same thing. 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. All right, okay, last thing we're going to do, Owen is going to be the next victim of our problem here. But he has now become a salesman, and he sells cars. So on his lot or parking place where all the cars are, he has many vehicles for sale. A third of those vehicles are pickup trucks. Those are the ones with like the back that's open where you can put a lot of stuff in. Anyway, a third of those are white. What fraction of all the vehicles are white pickup trucks? All right, so same process that we've been doing. Okay, I do want you to make sure you watch the drawing. Okay, so first I show it in thirds and I shade in 1. All right, today we're just learning about 1 out of whatever our fraction is. Okay, I have my 1/3. I'm going to change colors. I'm going to show 1/3 again, going the other way. I'm going to go ahead and shade that in. I only care about the double shaded part, which would be this. All right, have you noticed all of our answers have 1 as our numerator? Anyway, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, our equation, 1/3 times 1/3 equals 1/9. All right, hopefully by now we have figured out if we multiply 1 times 1, we get 1. Okay. And if we multiply 3 times 3, we get 9, which is ultimately our answer. All right. Now please remember, this is only when you multiply fractions by fractions. All right. Don't get them confused with multiplying fractions by whole numbers. Okay. This is fractions by fractions. All right, go ahead, take the quiz, and good luck.